I've just been for a little walk around feeding up a couple of spots. As you can probably see, this patch of lily pads is just knocking. So I'll put a little bit of bait down right here. I came up on a session a couple of weeks ago. I didn't film it, it was only a couple of hours. Unfortunately didn't have anything. But sort of the highlight of the day was I had 4 fish feeding on this one little spot. And I'd say at least 3 of them were over 20. So at the moment these lily pads are just knocking ever so slightly now and then. So I've just put a little bit of bait down here. It's just typical though. You can't actually fish this spot because we're on the bridge. I just think, I don't know, I just like feeding them. Just to see what they're like underwater, how they feed, what they prefer. It just makes you learn a little bit more. I've got my stuff in a swim now. It's not too far away from here actually. It's just, it's the next swim down. It's literally here. So you can fish one out into this margin and one over onto the other margin, or even out in the middle of the water as like an interception point. But just at the moment, it's about 8:30 in the morning. I'm just putting little bits of bait down here, just to watch if he comes back. Simply, I've just put a handful of hemp down, a handful of crushed and half boilie, and then flicking out 2 or 3 pellets at a time. Just keeping the noise of the pellet going on the water, so I'll attract them down. You know, they're reared on pellet nowadays, aren't they? So they recognise the sound of it, they recognise what they look like. Right, so we're back in my swim for the day. As per usual, just got the lightest kit that I can. So a couple of 9-foot dwarf rods. I really rate these, the whole kit. Everything apart from the net. I found that the net is really stiff to put in, and yeah, eventually when I was taking it off one day, the spreader block actually sheared in 2. So I've replaced that with a JRC sort of 2-piece net, and that does the same job, and it's easier to put in. Perfect really. And then just a Daiwa Mission, I think that might be a 20 litre roving mat, you know, basics, you don't need to take too much. So here's the swim. I've got a couple of options. If I stay back from the water's edge, it's quite a deep margin just here, so I can bait that and put a little bit there. The lily pads that I was feeding that big fish are up this channel, but to get there is quite hard because you've got quite a few overhanging trees. So the furthest you can really get to it is if you do an underhand cast just into the middle of the channel really. Might have a little play around with it, see what I can do. Nice margin, just have to watch out for these trees again. And biggest feature is this sort of marginal overhang over here. A couple of little fish just rolling over the spot. So I think the first port of call is getting a bit of bait down. Try and get them in. I've baited up a few little spots, so of course if they aren't here, I've got a few options. Just got the steam just rolling off the water at the moment. Is it steam or mist? I don't really know. I should know. That's just beautiful at the moment, guys. It's about 9:15. Looks like the sun's just about to come out. Might warm the water up a bit, but it's not getting too hot today. It's staying about 16 degrees. Right, let's get set up. Rods are out. Fell a little bit short of where I wanted them the first one. First one, instead of being up against here, sort of fell about here. But I'll leave that for 20 minutes, see if anything comes of it. If not, I'll give it a change. It's just off the baited patch basically. It's still the same depth, but just off the baited patch. And this other one I sort of chose against going up that channel in the end. Because of these trees, you have people losing their stuff in that tree and this tree. So I've just dropped that just here. It's quite shallow, went down quite firm, quite shallow. Sun's just behind this cloud at the moment, but when that comes out it's quite warm, so hopefully they'll be up in the water a little bit. Right, if anything happens I shall keep you lot updated, but for now I'm just going to trick a little bit more bait in. There's that sun. And try and catch. Alright, I'll talk to you in a minute. Right guys, I'll quickly recast the rod that was in the channel just to that overhanging tree. Literally just clipped it as I went down. I was just next to it. Put a bit of pellet and sweet corn over it. 10 minutes later, carp number 1. Let's get it out and show you. So here we go, £15.6, put up a brilliant fight. We'll get him back. So I've worked my way through this little patch of woodland behind me. Here's my swim. So I'm just stood on some big trees. One of them being the spot where I caught the fish from earlier. This one, it was just under this underhang. Just down there. I caught that one from earlier. So I've got a couple of handfuls of boilies with me. I've just sprinkled them in. I'm also looking for some movements down in the margin, just to see if there's, I don't know, anything around. Just a couple of signs. I'll put a little bit more bait out, and I'll head round and cast back out. I think what I'm going to do is have one over here and one just in the margin over there, a big bush next to it, so if I stay quiet and back from the water's edge, you never know, might be able to winkle one out for that. Right, a couple of handfuls of sweet corn, and then we'll get back to where we were. So as you can probably see, I'm not using alarms or a pod. It sort of ties in with just taking a rod holder and a rucksack really. It's just trying to cut down the amount of kit that I take. I'm quite liking travelling light at the moment. Really, just the freedom it gives. You can sort of turn up at a lake and take advantage of opportunities quite quickly. I used to take a lot of kit, sort of like typical carp angler, 12-foot rods, the brolly just in case, bait buckets filled with bait, just a lot of weighty kit and the barrow that you needed with it. Just sort of weighed you down a little bit, but no, I've cut down to just these 2 little dwarf Nash rods. I really rate them. I've got 2 in 3.5 pound test curve. I've got one at home for surface fishing as well. That's a 175. And yeah, those 2 just pack down. The butts actually retract, so it's like scopes, but so the less expensive version, because they're still really good bits of kit. I really do rate them. So I'm just watching the water at the moment, seeing if I can see anything. I went for a walk around earlier. I was thinking about a move, and obviously this kit does mean that I can move quite quickly if I need to. With a good pack up, it can take about 5 minutes. It doesn't really take too much. Whereas with my big kit, then it would probably take 15, 20, half hour even. So you turn around, you're almost like, you just can't be arsed. But no, now it's quite easy to move. So you see an opportunity and you can take advantage of it. But for the moment, I think these spots are going to be good. I've got a couple of hours left, as I said. And the lily pads that I was feeding them on are just up this channel, so they might drift out and come along, come across our bait. Alright, anything happens, I will keep you updated. Right, my other rod went this time. Not the species we're after. Ended up with a warty old bream. That is bloody disgusting. We'll unhook him in the net and just let him go straight back. That rod's still out, just near that tree. I did recast it, put a little PVA stick on it. Just see if that goes. Yeah, I'll recast this one with another PVA bag. We'll let this ugly thing go. Looks like I got something wrong with him. Anyway, I'll keep you updated. So, got about 20 minutes left of the session, but I'm going to do the end video now. Just my phone's playing around a bit, saying that I haven't got any battery. I know I do, but just in case it turns off. So I've still got a rod out here. So like I said, 20 minutes left. If that goes, I'll try and take a picture or get someone around to take a picture of it, and I'll put it on the end of the video. But if not, I've had a good day. I've had one and that bream. Doesn't really seem like anyone else has had a lot. Guy up on the island, just sat there fiddling with the alarms mostly. I'll look round and he'll be just have cast out and he's fiddling. That's annoying. So no, I've got a overnighter planned for a couple of weeks. For in a couple of weeks, not for a couple of weeks, Jesus. So I'll be videoing that, and that'll probably be the next upload. So if I don't see you before, I will see you then.